We will continue from where we paused in the last session. What did we discuss in the last session?
Tapa dukkha and sanskara dukkha.
Yes. So now we will come to the crux of this sutra. Just take a minute and go through what we have studied. Yes.
Ji, can I ask you one question related to this sutra?
Yes, we will finish this sutra and take it, Rena ji. Is it fine? Towards the
Yeah,
conclusion?
just that, ma'am, I didn't. This parinama dukkha, in parinama dukkha comes ragaja karmashaya.
We will.
That's
No,
what.
we will
Okay.
discuss. That's what I said. Once
Oh,
we have all
okay.
of this in a nutshell today, it will be
Okay,
more
okay, ma'am.
clear. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Please chant this Sutra 15. All of you together unmute yourself.
Parinama tapasamskara dukkair guna vritti virodacha dukkameva sarvam vivekinaha.
Very good. Very nice. Lisa ji. Good. There is complete clarity of speech now.
What sutra is
Good.
this, ma'am? I missed
Which
last
sutra
time.
is this? This is 15th sutra.
15 sutra.
So we discussed about parinama, tapa, samskara. What is parinama? Just make a chart. Parinama. Dukkha, parinama dukkha. Comes out of raga karmashaya. Ragaja karmashaya. Ragaja karmashaya comes out of kama and trishna. So kama and trishna going reverse create the ragaja karmashaya, and reversing ragaja karmashaya creates parinama dukkha. What is parinama dukkha? We take the example of a person stung by a scorpion starts running, so scared of that sting, further steps on a snake and is bitten by the snake too. Sage Patanjali says, such is the life of a samsari, a person who is in samsara, in the material world. Such is the state of a Vishaya Bhogi. Technically write the term Vishaya Bhogi. Vishaya, object of the senses. Bhogi, enjoyer of the objects of the senses. Or enjoyers of the pleasures that born out of the senses. So what do we see? What does this sutra tell us? No matter how many pleasures of the senses we experience, sometimes don't we say, oh, if I enjoy the world, I will have vairagya, or I will not feel like enjoying the world anymore. This is not to be taken for this sutra. What does this sutra say? The more you enjoy the world, you are creating strong samskaras for this life and the next life. It is a myth that the more you enjoy, finally you will be able to rise above those pleasures. No. We see that the more there are objects of senses, we indulge into them and we create very strong impressions for this lifetime and the next lifetime. And they're unending and anadi. How much? So therefore, Sage Patanjali in this sutra says, drop immediately the pleasures of the senses. Ekendriya. We've discussed Ekendriya. You will go back and find out today. Read again today. Yes? Ekendriya. Parinama dukkataha. And tapa dukkha, right? Tapa dukkha, being born out of dveshaja karmashaya. Tapa dukkha, dveshaja karmashaya. So parinama dukkha, ragaja karmashaya. Tapa dukkha, dveshaja karmashaya. Dveshaja karmashaya, being born out of lobha and moha. Greed, lobha, greed, moha, desire. So what do we see here? In Hindi we say, अभाव ज्ञान है या ज्ञान का अभाव है. तो जो ज्ञान है इंसान उसके पीछे भागता है. Therefore some people say, oh, I enjoy being in the samsara and these samskaras of dukkha. I don't mind one after the other if there are challenges in my life. Bravely, people say, I'm ready for pain. I enjoy the pain in life. Arey, think twice what you're asking for. In this moment, it may seem bearable. What will you do when there is an ocean of the pain from births and births that start meeting you because of this? In this moment, you're saying, it is okay for me to suffer. I'm enjoying this suffering. Now the gate opens because what did we see? The previous samskaras. One action in this life gives an entry pass to the past samskaras to enter. And what is this person claiming here? While being in the samsara, I enjoy the pain and suffering. Oh, we are very miserable as a family, but I think that's what makes us a good family. Where is this coming from? A good family needs to be earned by a collective effort. And then people in the samsara say, this is how we are. So see, a person who is facing tapa dukkha due to dveshaja karmashaya, I don't like this. I don't like this, dveshaja karmashaya, lobha, moha. Such a person is strongly attached with chetana and achetana. You recall? We discussed chetana and achetana. Attached to chetana, achetana, moha. Chetana, one with consciousness, beings. Achetana, my house, my car, my this and my that, all of it. So this person limits the source of happiness to an extremely heavy and gross level. Are you able to observe? Both are nashwar. Both are bound to exhaust. Chetana and achetana, both. So now what is happening? Each time a product is being exhausted, the suffering is increasing one time. Okay, if not this, then I go to another object, then I go to another Achetan. If not Chetan, then I go to Achetan. I become extremely wealthy as a revenge to the people in my life. It is also exhausting. So born out of Dveshaja Karmasha. Strong dislikes and strong likes. Therefore, in the previous sutras we've seen Srish Patanjali advising us to rise over strong likes and dislikes. Let's see the remaining bhashya and then we will continue. Renaji, is it now more understandable for you? Pranam. का पुनः संस्कार दुःखता सुखानुभावत सुख संस्कारशयो दुःखानुद्यपि दुःख संस्कारशय इति एवं कर्मभ्यो विपाकोभ्यो अनुमायेन सुखे दुःखे वा पुनः कर्माशय प्रचय इति एव मिदम अनादि दुःखस्त्रातो विपसृतं योगिनीमेव प्रतिकूलात्मक कावद उद्दयजयति कस्मात् अक्षिपात्रकल्पो हि विद्वानिति यथोर्णार्थत तंतुर अक्षिपात्रेण नस्ति स्पर्शेण दुःखयति नान्येषु गात्रावयेषु एव मेतानि दुःखानि अक्षिपात्र अकल्पं योगिनमेव क्लिशन्ति ननन्तरं प्रतिपत्ता आरम्. We see from the sutra that the yogi says, therefore, I don't want anything from this. Itarantu स्वकर्म पाह्यतम दुःखम उत्तम उपत्तम त्यजंत त्यक्ता अमुपादेनांत मनावि अनिदिवस विचित्रया चित्तवृत्तया समन्ततो वृद्धिम अविद्या हेतव्य एवा हाकार अकार अनुपतिन जातम जातम बाह्य आध्यात्मिक बाह्य निमित्त स्त्री वर्णास्तपा अनुप्लवन्ते तदमेव मनानि दुःखस्त्रोतमतसः व्यूहमान आत्मनन भूतग्रामं च दृष्ट्वा योगी सर्व दुःख क्षय कारणं सम्यक् दर्शं शरणं प्रपद्यत इति गुणवृत्ति विरोधाच्च दुःखमेव सर्वे विवेकिनः प्रख्य प्रवृत्ति स्थिति रूपा that is सत्वरजस् तमस् बुद्धि गुणाः परस्पर अनुगृह्यन्ते भूत्वा शांत घोरं मूढ़ा वा प्रत्ययं द्विगुणमेवारभन्ते चलं च गुणवृत्ति क्षिप्र परिणाम चित्तम uktam. The third we discuss is the sanskarajanya dukkha. So sanskara dukkha we see vasana janya. Vasana, right? The technical term vasana. Vasana. Instead of yes, vasana. Sanskara dukkha, result of our vasanas. Sukha sanskara and dukkha sanskara. Previous life sukha samskaras and dukkha samskaras. So instead of eating to live, such a person lives to eat. Unable to understand what are the tendencies in this birth and unable to understand that they are carried from the previous samskaras. There is no effort made by the person to change the previous life samskaras. We discussed the example of the cobweb, the spider. Do you recall? Urnanabhi? Yes. So now what happens to the yogi? All of these that the yogi sees out in the world, the yogi realizes as an observer that there is endless suffering for all the jivas and also sees the source of suffering for each individual person and jivas. When you are in the role of an observer, you are free because you are not participating. Your senses feel more free to absorb the world as it is. You are neither driven by any desire, nor likes, nor dislikes. So what is the state of senses? More free. Looking at everything as the thing is. Observing everything as it is. So what happens to the yogi? Just like when something enters into the eye, it disturbs us for a few minutes. It's not causing disturbance to any other limb of the body, just the eye. So just seeing that is causing the suffering for the yogi's eye. Similarly, when something moves into your eyes and you want to close your eyes, immediately you want to take it off. So the yogi is sitting in meditation. Why? Because after opening the eyes, again feels like closing the eyes. So better I sit with eyes closed. Why? Because there is nothing new under the sky. All of this is happening repeatedly with so many people. And they cannot see it. And you try to pursue them. They will not listen. How many will you able to help unless they want to help themselves? Therefore, we say, do something. At least join your hands and pray. At least create one samskara every day without fail. Lit a lamp, do your upasana, daily upasana, nitya mantra, whatever you do. At least once. Least out of the 24 hours, take 5 minutes to create one samskara of upasana. Don't go out and serve the people. Everybody is bad outside in the world. Serve your own family. Clean the dishes, cook for them once in a while. Be kind to them. That is also bare minimum, not possible. So what will a yogi do? It's the story of the hunter and the deer. The yogi observes the natural chain of beings interdependent on each other, consuming each other and moving forward. And knowing that nothing can be done in acceptance is in a meditative absorption. So the moment the eyes open, as though something hits, that's the pain experienced for a yogi when out of the state of samadhi. Therefore, secluded, away. When you know everything, it's more painful because you cannot help. That's more difficult. When you are seeing, observing everything in the world, and you know everything what's happening, and there is no taker for this knowledge. Nobody wants to sit. Nobody is consistent. Nobody wants to help themselves. So it's more painful. So yogis distance themselves. They know being in the monastery is the best. Whoever comes here will be one in thousands and millions. And that person really then who goes there is freed from that. So, sanskara dukkhata, vasana janya, sukha sanskara and dukkha sanskara. And what does a yogi see then in the samskara? Ahamkara and mamakara. Everybody running from the dukkha. Everybody running from suffering. For a yogi, what is the glimpse of samsara? Everybody running away from suffering. Mamakara, ahamkara, I amness. Running away. Yes, nobody wants suffering. There was only one person, Subhadra and Draupadi, who asked for suffering. Why and how they asked? You should study Bhagavad Gita for that. Rest, nobody asked for suffering. So, Jatam. We read this Jatam. From many births and many births running away, but like a foolish person not accepting and acknowledging that this is been anadi, this is happening. If I am aware, I can bring a pause to it. I can end it now. In utter foolishness, running from birth to birth, away from suffering. Instead of plucking it from the root itself. See, in samsara, there are 4 ways of obtaining knowledge. You should make note of this. 4 ways of obtaining knowledge. Somebody reads and understands. You read something, you understand it first. So, similarly, About the samsara, you can read and you can understand the samsara. We are understanding the ways of knowing the samsara. You can read and you can understand the samsara. Read about samsara, you understand. Second, you see the samsara. Dekh ke seekhna. Look at the samsara, you observe and you learn what samsara is. So whatever knowledge you want to have in this samsara, first is you read, you see, and third is you listen about this knowledge of samsara. Sun ke seekhna. 3. About the samsara, there are 3 ways of knowing. Padh ke, dekh ke, sun ke. You read everything under the sky in the samsara, you read about it, you can gain some knowledge. You see, you can gain some knowledge. You listen, you can gain some knowledge. But what about Brahma Jnana, the knowledge of who you are? You have to practice and you learn. To learn about yourself, you have to practice the knowledge of this. So, therefore, the yogi says, these are the ways about samsara. Still, this person who is caught in the web, one's own web, is unable to make use of all these 3 instruments. And even if the one of them makes use of it, Gunavrutti Virodhacha, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas will constantly keep creating, dominating each other. And there is another, the Tapatraya we have seen, that work. So internally, if there is no suffering, externally there is massive ocean of suffering. Therefore, entire samsara is dukkha. Now let's move to the most important part of this sutra. Rupatishaya vrittiyati shayascha parasparena virudyante samanyati tvishtahe saha parivartante evamete guna itarekshaye उत्पर्जित सुख दुख मोह प्राप्य इति सर्वे स्वरूपां भवन्ति गुण प्रधान भावकृत एतेषां विशेष इति तस्मात् दुःखमेव सर्वं विवेकिनः इति तदस्य महतो दुःख समुदायस्य प्रभाव बीजं विद्या तस्याश्च सम्यक् दर्शनं भाव हेतुः यथा चिकित्सा शास्त्रं चातुर्व्यूहं रोगो रोग हेतुर् आरोग्य उपास्यम् उपजयम् इति एवं इदामपि शास्त्रं चातुर्व्यूहमेवं तदातं संसारः संसार हेतुर्मोक्षो मोक्षपाय इति तत्र दुःखबल संसार हेयः प्रधान पुरुषयो संयोगे हेय हेतुः संयोगस्य अनित्ति निवृत्ति अनर्हं हानोपायः सम्यग् दर्शनम् तत्र हेतुः हातुः सर्वं स्वरूप उपोदय हेय वान भवति अर्थुम् इति हाने तस्य उद्देश्ये वाद प्रसंग उपादने च हेतुवाद उभय प्रत्याख्याते च शास्त्रत्वाद इत्येत सम्यग् दर्शनम्. Now, to arise out of this suffering of samsara, samyag darshanam is required. What is this samyag darshanam? We will see. For example, if we take Ayurveda, I was teaching Ayurveda in prenatal today. Yes. So why we have taken Ayurveda? Ayurveda's original intention was for sadhana, that a yogi should not fall sick, and in case there is suffering in the samsara, should be able to cure with the help of Ayurveda. So Sage Patanjali wrote the treatise on Ayurveda not as a medicine for all, for the yogi, to save from oneself from the suffering of the samsara at the body. This was the intention. For Ayurveda, all the medicinal herbs were discussed. So everything, when it is started, the intention is best for everything. But later on, as it translates, oh, big organization, Dharmadai Sanstha, great yogis have opened it. What happened later to it? They became commercial units. So anything starts with always the sattva. Later on, as generations pass, it becomes, it moves towards tamasa. So today we see the use of Ayurveda also as different intoxications or different kinds of substances which are not in use. Certain use of herbs too, herbs as psychedelics and so on. This is not the original intention of herbs. So similarly, when we talk about Samyak Darshana, let's see what is the intention of this suffering, dukkha. So in Ayurveda, like we have the description of the disease. Now there are 4 terms here: Heya, Hetu, Hana and Hanopaya. Heya, Heya. Heya. What is Heya? Every text that you see, spiritual text, first discusses the problem. So Heya is going to discuss the problem. What is the problem in our case? So for Ayurveda, the problem is disease. If it's an Ayurvedic text we open, first the disease will be discussed. Right? So for us, what is there in the Moksha Shastra? Samsara is discussed. What is this samsara? Please give me the technical name for it. Chant. Heya. Yes, Heya is what? Samsara. Next is, in any text, for example, the text of Ayurveda, the reason for disease is discussed. Shastra Chaturtha Pravartate, Chaturvida Pravartate. So every Moksha Shastra has these 4. So our problem now is discussed what? Sansara. Then reason for samsara. Similarly in Moksha Shastra, like in Ayurveda, reason of disease is discussed. In Moksha Shastra, reason for samsara is discussed. And what is this reason for samsara? Avidya. Born out of Pradhana plus Purusha. Pradhana, Prakriti. Pradhana plus Purusha. So reason for samsara, what is the reason for samsara? Avidya.
Sorry, G. How this is called? We said that the problem is called Heya, while
Heya.
the reason of the problem
Hetu.
Hetu. Thank you.
Hetu. So Heya, Hetu. Third, in Ayurveda or any text of Ayurveda, we see state of diseaselessness is discussed. So first, disease, reasons for disease. Third, how does the state of diseaselessness look like? Which means, in our case, in Moksha Shastra, moksha is discussed. What is the state free of suffering for a seeker?
What's called?
Hana. Heya, Hetu, Hana. And finally, then in the text of Ayurveda, what do you see? Solution for the diseases. So we began with what is the disease, reason for disease, state of diseaselessness, and then the solutions for diseases. So what is this state? Hanopaya. It is known as Hana Upaya. Hanopaya. In Moksha Shastra, what is this Hanopaya? Yoga. So what is the practice of yoga? Hanopaya. Heya samsara. Hetu avidya. Hana moksha. Hanopaya yoga. And the one who is understanding all of this, Hatha seeker, Hatha seeker, seeker of moksha, seeker of Hana is known as Hatha. Without a Hatha, there is no Heya Hetu, Hana and Hanopaya. If there is no Hatha, this knowledge disappears. Not only in Ayurveda, everywhere. So, for example, in Ayurveda, we see Bala Roga Chikitsa disappearing, Kaya Chikitsa disappearing, and so on. So, if Hatha is not there, Heya, Hetu, Hanopaya, all of these disappear. I hope you're able to follow the depth of this sutra. And I hope now Sage Patanjali has revealed to us why we are practicing yoga, why it is important to not only practically be on the mat, but also study yoga as the Moksha Shastra. It is incomplete practice if you are only following one of the things of yoga, only having the practicality. Yes, I think for today it is okay. We can ask questions. We have to wait here. We will not progress.